will be. That we just float around like a cork, whatever comes your way, that's just it. But I tell you, that isn't the way it is. I can assure you that where you are today, what's going on in your life or in your body has been influenced by you. Everyone agree to that? Through wrong choices, wrong thoughts. Whatever's going on in your life or in your body today has been influenced by you. If good things are going on in your life, keep doing what you're doing. But if bad things are going on in your life, if life isn't going the way that you had hoped, you have the potential to make a choice to bring change into your life. You're not a victim. Don't sort of get into that victim mentality. You have the potential to change it. Hebrews. See, the thing is, the devil keeps giving us opportunities to sin, which is a bad choice in your life. And in Hebrews 11:25, Paul's talking about Moses. And he said Moses chose not to enjoy the pleasures of sin for a season and to suffer with his people. Like Moses chose not to live that lifestyle that he had. And the Bible says it was a sinful lifestyle. But he said he chose not and to obey God's calling on his life. Let's not deny the fact that sin is pleasurable. We can't deny that fact. The devil would have no temptation at all if it wasn't. We have the choice, and it says it's for a season. The pleasures of sin only last for a very short time. And then there's the price to pay for it, which is way more than what you'd think it's worth. You know, if the devil was trying to tempt us to poke a red-hot needle in our eye, there'd be no temptation, would there? But the sinful life is a pleasurable life for a season. You know, every drug addict that I've ever spoken to, it was pleasurable for a short while. And then the price to pay for the choices that you've made. And the price to pay is usually your life. The price tag on these things is always way more than what they're worth. But the devil comes up with something that seems like a good idea at the time. And that's how we get most people. But, you know, don't be one of these people that says, you know, always blames the devil. Like, the devil sort of made me do it. Oh, the devil's really got me under pressure. You know, don't be like that. When it boils down to it, you'll always have a choice. You know, the Bible says that our temptations can only be with things that are common to man. I think Pastor Dave mentioned this last week. The devil can't use supernatural powers against you to zonk you out or anything like that, or get you the thing. It's only things that are common to man. I looked up the meaning of the word common, and it says a common area in a building is an area where everybody's got access to, like this here. Like this here is a common area. We haven't got access up to the offices up in stairs because they belong to the people that work here. But this is a common area. Now, the devil can only use what is common to man, which is, the way I read that, that's sort of carnal. He can only use carnal thoughts, all these sort of things to get people to sort of fall into his trap. But you know that our weapons of warfare aren't carnal. Can you see that we hold the trump cards? He's limited to carnal things, but the weapons to our warfare aren't carnal, but they're mighty in pulling down strongholds. It's like we hold all the aces up our sleeve, but we don't know it. We got more firepower than what we actually need, but we don't know it. And a Christian person, I quite often think of that. Imagine a person armed to the teeth. I mean, this guy revolves in both hips. He's got a gun. He's got a knife. He's got hand grenades. He's armed to the teeth. And someone comes up in a trench coat with his finger on his shirt and says, "Throw down your weapons." And they say, "Oh, all right." And that's what Christians do. They get convinced that the enemy's got more firepower than us, and they get frightened. We're the ones with all the firepower. He's got nothing. He's got to use only things that are common to man. But our weapons aren't. I mean, it's pretty exciting. We don't have to be pushed around. I'll tell you what, the devil doesn't call the shots. He can only use things that are common to man. And I'm not denying that we have an adversary. I'm not denying there's a devil out there. And I'm not denying that people fall for his traps all the time. But the Bible says that the devil roams round like a hungry lion seeking who he may devour. Well, as I've always said, if there's some he may devour, there must be some he may not, and I'm one of them. But I study. If the Bible says he hunts like a hungry lion, I thought I'm going to do a bit of study on lions and just see how they hunt. And it's just interesting because Dave actually, I think, spoke about this last week too. And I had this sermon in my head because this was the overflow out of 2 weeks ago that I got so much when I was preparing that sermon. I thought, oh, gee, I could preach this as twice, So anyway, I already had the sermon when Dave started talking about this. I thought, gee whiz, God is just pushing this point. Now, the devil hunts like a hungry lion. Now, the lion is focused. He'll focus on one animal, and it's usually one that's gone out to the side. He'll chase the herd, but he'll only chase the herd until he finds one in the herd that says, I'm better on my own. I'm better off to go on my own. And isn't that the way it happens in a church? You get people that backslide and they wander off on their own, and they're easy prey for the lion. While you're in the church, while you're under the protected covering of the church and the prayer, you're pretty safe. You're pretty safe. And I can remember reading a story going back some time ago, and this is true. A husband and his wife got married, and they went to Africa for their honeymoon. And they were going out on day trips, walking every day, and they were actually camping in a tent. And every night, the husband would build a big fire, and he'd get up through the night, keep it stoked. And there was one day, and they were safe. They'd never had any sort of issues at all, but there was one day there they walked a long time. They were very, very tired. And that night he stoked the fire before he went to bed, but he forgot to actually get up through the night and stoke it again. The fire went out. A lion come in that night and killed him before her eyes, and he was killed. And that's true. That was actually a true story that happened some years ago. But I thought, when the fire goes out, the lion comes in. Can't we relate that to us? When the fire goes out, when you lose your passion, your drive, and men, this is a warning to you. As the caretakers of your family, the fire in you is keeping the lion away from your family. Once that fire goes out, he's moving in for the kill. If you've already given your heart to Christ at some time, the devil never forgets that. He never forgets that. There's always a price to pay. If you backslide, if you wander off, if you're not on fire for God all the time, and this is what keeps me going, this is what drives me to keep going, because I'm the one standing between him and my family. And that fire's going to stay ignited in me. I'm going to make sure that I get that going. And wives, you need to be praying for your husbands. Pray that God will keep that fire burning in him, because he's the one that's standing between that hungry lion and you and your kids. It's important. It's important. And, if the husband's not standing up to the role, well, the wife needs to. If the husband's not in that role, the wife really needs to be praying. But, we need to keep going there. But as I said, he hunts like a hungry lion. Something else I learned about lions while I was doing this research. Do you ever wonder why they use a chair in lion taming, with the whip and the chair? Because the lion can only focus on one thing. And with the 4 prongs of the legs, it confuses the lion, and he's actually stunned. The lion's only focus, when he's hunting after you, he's only focusing on one thing, the boundaries that he's allowed to operate in, things that are common to man. He's focusing on that, focusing on destroying you and your family, but focus on that. Now, we come in over the top with our weapons of warfare aren't carnal. And while he's distracted, focusing on that one thing, how far he can go, how far he can push us, we come over the top and we beat him. We beat him. It's as simple as that. As I did that study on lions, I thought, wow, that's really good, because when the Bible said he hunts like a hungry lion, God has obviously related something there. And I thought, I need to know this.